Sure, this goes.
You turned on the water and I started drinking water in the same moment. Did you see that?
Oh my God.
I can't
Okay.
guarantee there won't be some emotional stuff today either.
Well, we're just gonna do what we can.
We're gonna do it. No, we're gonna do what we do.
We're gonna do what we do.
Yeah.
That's it, going into the unknown and the uncomfortable. Hey. Wait a minute.
Most of us are comfortable here right now, though, right? By this point.
Yeah, we're comfortable. Uh-oh. Let me see what's going on here. I don't know if it went. There it is. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Yeah, put a little Ties music on to open it up with, just to.
I love it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's funny how things just materialize. Oh, Jesus Christ! What did I just do? Zoom. Yeah, my mouse is kind of funky.
Your mouse is kind of funky.
It's kind of funky.
Trying to run away from you?
Yeah, it's doing weird stuff.
Well, it's one with us all then, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like, that's what I was getting last night and today. I was getting everything here is, it's all, I guess, in a sense, what you think it is. And so I was this morning, I was like walking, and every tree I'd stop at, and they were like, hey, it's not just the tree. You can feel the same way about a house. Connect to this house. And I'm like, whoa, it's the same thing. Everything is the same thing. And what you think of it is what is made of it, and it was like, okay. And then really applying that to people, situations, places, things,
And that's what we're here to challenge, those realities, right? Why is it the way it is? Who says it's that way? Who says it has to be that way? Is
Right.
that the way we want it to be? Are we resonating with the way it is? And if we're not, are we taking and using our power to create something different?
Yeah.
I say yes, today.
Yeah. No better time than now. Victoria Rolfe, who's coming to Solargy Fest, wanted to know if you're coming. And yes, she's coming.
I'm coming, yes.
She's coming, and her
with bells on, yes.
Her star child's coming. That's going to be cool. That there's going to be your star child, Amanda Bloodworth from Blanco, Texas. Her star child, Rainbow Child, that sees the rainbow world and rainbow people.
Go Texas.
Yeah. Who else is bringing children? Pamela from Higher Vibrations is bringing her star child. She's 9. Elsa's bringing 2, 19 and 21.
The energy is going to be so lit, bro.
Cindy Fink's 18-year-old's coming, or is 20-something-year-old, 21, 22. Isabel, my kid's coming, or one of my kids. I don't know how many will come, but so, it's funny how, I don't know about you, but like, I'll say things over the years and I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, I know what I'm saying, but I don't realize what I'm saying. And whenever this thing kicked off at the Solargy Fest, I was like, oh, we're going to have a children's tent. We're just going to have a children's tent, period. And all of a sudden, children are coming, right?
That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, I have that happen as well.
Yeah.
Say things and not realize what it is till later.
Right. So, so this is let me just, I shouldn't be rolling this out, but I guess in terms of what we're doing, just to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
So every show on the Solargy Network that's existing 20 plus shows, is making one last spotlight show of the month, which is most of the shows run weekly. So they have 4 in a month, and one every month we do on social media, Sology social media platforms, so we can share with people what we're doing. And so every one of the shows is going to make one final round this month, which is, this is Lighthouse with Nicole, but the name's going to change. But now what we're going to do is we're going to offer the spotlight show on the network for people that are registered and not subscribed. They can watch it free. So as we go forward, like 1 in 4, 1 in 5 shows that we have on the network will be free to the public, as well as the public page. But we didn't come here to talk about that. I'm just telling you what we're doing. So this is, I'm going to hand it over to the hostess, because I'm here to witness and collaborate with this beautiful sister that actually met when we rolled out these shows. When I got the download, okay, now it's time to bring people in. And Nicole wrote me and said, "Hey, I want to do a show," and I just felt the kindredness immediately. And I said, "Let's go." And I've been real impressed, because every show's different, but your show, you came on in the beginning and said, you know, this is what I do, because you have other platforms, and this is what I do. It's very direct, it's straightforward. I probably have people on from time to time, but a lot of it's going to be me talking about through my experience and really what I see as Sology, which is just laying it on the line and be, you know, doing the best with what you have and what you know and what you don't know. But yeah, so I've been real, I enjoy it. I watch the shows while I'm working, and yours is always makes me laugh. Sometimes it makes me want to cry. You know, it gives you an eye opener or kick in the ass or whatever. And the fact that you're from Texas and we've just connected, and, you know, it's just like weird, because you're like one of those people that, you know, I remember I went to my not my hometown, but where I went to high school a few years ago, many years ago now, like 20 years ago. What am I, 61? So I would have been like 45 or something. And I hadn't seen these dudes I hung out with in high school since I was probably 20, bunch of crazy, wild Texas boys. And I hooked up with one, and we're like, hey, we're going to go to this, you know, this restaurant, go to the bar, and some of them are going to be there. So I called this one guy on the phone, Larry, and it was so crazy, because I called him and said, hey, Larry, it's Todd Medina. He goes, hey, what's up, man? And it was like no time had gone by. That's what it feels like with you. But yeah, I'll let you roll the show out. You're running this thing. Let's do it. What's happening? You're up.
Okay. Thank you so much, Todd. I appreciate that. And the feeling is mutual. We're definitely linked in from the soul. So I want to start off today by saying to my brother, happy birthday. This is for you, Jason. We are rewriting the code together today. So today's topic, fear. Fear has been, it's been pretty prominent across the plane. There's been fear over emergency broadcast alerts, over frequency wars, over, we can go into the details, but let's not. And it's something that I feel like is keeping us from stepping into that next level of, everybody wants to ascend. Everybody wants to be the higher consciousness and the embodiment of higher consciousness. What we're not recognizing or maybe realizing in our own experience is that these subconscious fears are running parts of our life if we are not in awareness. And are we having music and then losing music?
No, I don't know what happened here. Something crazy is going on.
Are we jumping timelines back to?
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened. Keep going.
Hey, I'm good with that. I'm all about it. We're rewriting it right now. This is what that looks like. So, for those of you who don't know, my brother was in a really bad accident. Todd spoke on this a little while this morning, and I won't get into too many specifics. But let's just say that, for most in the human experience, when we come into an experience like this, it is devastating. It is traumatizing, and it will grip us and it will choke us down. Literally pull the energy right from our body. And I don't care what kind of spiritual practice you have. I don't care how good and aligned you think you are. If you are not in awareness of these fears as they show up through your loved ones, through these experiences, you're going down with the fear. And that's how it showed up for me. Anyway, so here's what I saw happen. I saw my human receive the message about my brother. And I do best when I use myself as an example, other than to speak on what the collective is doing. I just find it more expandable and more personable to use myself. So I'm always using myself as the example, and I'm using myself today as well. So I get the call from my brother, and the first initial response for me is human, right? I get the call. My sister's like, "Are you sitting down?" The whole process, which I'm very familiar with. My family, we've had a lot of things, and we've gone through a lot of griefs together, as I'm sure many others have as well. So when we go through these grieving periods, we come to a place with it where it almost feels like, now, instead of my brother being, the one who is injured and going through the experience, it almost became my experience, the embodiment of me. And I don't mean an experience that I chose to have. I mean an experience that was invading my consciousness. It was an experience that would pull me out of the signature that I align with, that I vibrate on, that I resonate with. And I felt it. It would come in and it would grab the back of my shirt or grab my heart, right? My heart being the back of my shirt here. And it would pull me down and say, "Your brother's dying. Your brother's dying. Your brother's dying in the hospital. Your brother's dying, and you're not there." And all the fear flooded in. What if I don't see him? What if I don't tell him? What if I don't? What my human just straight to panic mode. And I grabbed that energy, and now I can feel it coursing through my body again. Of course, when we put ourselves back in these moments and that energy comes in motion, it's a very powerful energy. When I'm in this place, I have a choice. I can do one of two things. I can accept that the victim template is part of my experience. And that's a perfectly acceptable choice. Because when I accept that the victim template is part of my experience, and I go through the victim template and I go through the victim experience, it always brings me a beautiful lesson.
Mm.
Or I can say, you are in an awareness at a specific level of consciousness and a knowing with yourself from all of the previous traumatic experiences that you have brought with to date. And you've already rewritten the victim template in your field. How does that show up? It shows up by bringing awareness. When I feel it come in and pull my heart down, I have to say, "I see you here," and pull it back up. Does it always feel good? No, it doesn't always feel good. Do I still have the feelings and the emotions? Yes, I still have the feelings and emotions. What if I start to cry? That's okay. My tears are diamonds. I'm watering seeds with these tears, seeds of expansion. Okay. And that's funny that it brought me here, because you guys know I love my cards and I love my guided messages. I'm just a funny girl like that. And I did end up pulling some cards. I actually pulled from two decks. And the first deck is the Oracle Map deck. And I pulled the Gentle Gardener and the Field of Dreams. And I'm stating that I am watering seeds with my tears. And what kind of tears am I crying? Crystalline tears. And what do these tears do? They allow the crystal river to flow through my body, because they are releasing these stuck pockets of trauma-filled victimhood that still resonate in my field. That's why my brother is where he is. He's stimulating so that I can see where I still hold judgment, trauma, attachment, so that I can make a conscious choice to bring other vibrations and signatures to these moments. That being said, I connected in with my brother field. And a lot of people in my family don't understand the path that I walk. And I'm good with that. But in the beginning, I hesitated to step forward because I hesitated to put myself where I wasn't wanted or needed. And then I reached out. I used one of the tools that I give so freely. Reach out. If you're confused and you can't remember, reflect. Look around, because you're building and you're creating. And if you're building and creating from here and you look out and reach out, you're going to see this when you reach out. And I damn sure did. I reached out and I saw it. I saw all the love reflect right back into my field. And I remember that all of that love is the same love that I put out every day. It's my love, because I am one with all. And what we put into the field, that's the level of consciousness that we reside on. So I have a choice right now. With this experience, I'm showing my kids, right? If my thoughts and my feelings and my expressions show them that my brother being there is traumatizing me, and then I have an accident tomorrow, guess what their template's going to say? We are traumatized. Someone is injured. Injury is not what we think it is. We all go through, and many things I can't explain. I'm not claiming to know everything. I am claiming to know this. If I show up for this different, it's going to change the template. It may not completely reverse everything, but it is going to give someone sight to see something different. So after I reached out on Facebook and I got all the support, and all my soul family was like, you know where you are. You're good. We got you. Monetary offerings. I declined monetary offer. I wasn't looking for sympathy. I was looking for a reflection, because I had a lot of stuff in my field and I couldn't really see clearly. I knew, but I could still see a lot of things that were trying to take that knowing away. And sometimes it just feels good to be able to be supported. And it felt really good to be supported. So what happened after that? I came into my sacred heart space, which is where I do my work, right? And I work remotely daily. I know the power. I know the quantum field. I know how this game works. I co-create healing with people every day in my life, every day, every fucking day of my life. This is what I do. I show up every day. Okay. And I show up in a different way for many people. And I never have my hand out. I don't want to have a handout. I want to see the reflection come back to me. That is my abundance. That is where the abundance shows me you're good because you are, right? Because you can see you are. Here you are. This is it. So when I connected in, I instantly went to my brother, and he was waiting for me. And our energies met and didn't speak. It's not like I went over and like, hey, bro, what's going on? I went in and I pulled in his experience into my body. And I didn't realize, like you said earlier, sometimes we say things and we don't realize what we're saying until later, right? After I pulled, before all of this, I had mentioned to a friend that I felt like my brother was passing away. And then he died for 5 minutes. Very shortly after I said that, I felt that he was passing away. They brought him back and they hooked him up to the machines, right? So he's with us. And then when I went in to connect into his field, I pulled that experience into my field. So instead of Jason being with a collapsed lung, I overlapped his energetic signature on top of mine. So I overlaid his energetic field on the top of mine. Okay. And then I put his lungs inside of mine.
Wow.
And started breathing. And when I started breathing, I heard the song, It's More Than a Feeling. And this is I don't know, who sings it? More than a feeling.
That's older than you, Elvin Bishop.
It is. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
it came into my field, and I mean, it was just more than a feeling. And it was like coming into my field really strong. And I could feel the inside of my body. It felt like it was swelling up or something odd. It felt like I filled up a gap between something on the inside of my body. Right. So I'm assuming that was his signature on top of my signature, just filling the field a little more in my vessel. Long short of it, I started breathing for him. I've not had an update since I connected into his field. I have, however, kept this feeling within. And I mentioned to my friend, like, I kind of feel like my chest is swollen from the inside. Like, I'm not sure. They were like, well, didn't you just connect into your brother's field? Like, and oh shit, yes, like that's totally what I'm feeling. So now that the awareness is coming in a little quicker, now I'm able to harness that. So I'm holding that, what feels like anxiety and swelling of panic or whatever the feeling is. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm holding it in, and I'm pulling it back into that sacred space where I can alchemize it back into the energetic frequency of love, because that's what I am. I am love. And I know that my brother is also love, as are we all. We only need to remember. And these traumatic experiences, I had many as a child, and I used to go out of my body and watch over as my body would go through things. Okay. In my older life, reading cards and connecting in, I sometimes go to this place. Okay. And it's a different place. It's not this consciousness, it's somewhere else. And I was reading something about an NDE the other day, and it was like a near-death experience isn't what we think it is. We can actually go near death while we're alive and conscious, right, which is what I was doing when I was traumatized. I was going to near death, right? But I'm no longer traumatized. And sometimes I'll be thinking about, like, I get really deep like you, okay? If I'm thinking about the one consciousness and one unity and the projection, I'm asking questions like this. Why do we agree that this is a door and it's square with a gold doorknob? Why do you and I both agree without talking about that or looking at it? Like, why is that pre-recorded for us, right? So I'll ask these kind of questions. And in this space, I was talking with a friend and I asked that question. Why do you think the doorknob is the same place as me? Our height is different. We both reach to the same location. It's located in the same place every time. Why? I want to see this. I want to walk through that. I want to look on the other side. I want to know what's going on. And while I was having that conversation, I left my body and I went somewhere else, right? And I'm in that place. And I hear my friend reach over and pick up a caffeinated drink and open it and then unscrew the lid. And it sounded really far away, but in my peripheral, I could still see that room. I could still see that friend and that drink, heard him take a drink. And then I heard my friend say, so what's got you stuck is the fact that the doorknob is gold and you want to know why we think it's in the same place. And I said from the other space, oh shit, they think I'm in my body right now. I need to go back and answer that question. And I giggled. And as soon as I came back, I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. What was this? Like, not only did I go somewhere else, but I was commentating to myself what was happening in my field of reality. This tells me that even with all of my, expansion and my connection and all this, I have no clue what we can do here.
Right.
Okay. I'm limited in my thought and perception. And I am limited because I allow these old ass programs to run my experience. So what I've done in my experience with my brother is I've taken the old program of grief and sorrow. And I toss that in the fucking trash, and it can stay, excuse my language, it can stay there. I'm not running on that program. Does that mean it's not trying to come back in my field? Absolutely not. It'll show up dressed as every loved one I know, every friend I have, every song I hear, everything. It'll show up in my field because it wants me there. It needs all of this, right, to sustain in that quantum. But it ain't getting this, and it ain't getting mine either. And it's not getting anybody who's watching this today who can feel what I'm saying within. These programs don't resonate. They don't resonate. We shouldn't be out here grieving ourselves to the point of not being able to show up for the whole. I'm here. I'm here in love. This is my brother's birthday. I'm getting messages as we speak. My phone is consistently going off. I'm here in love. And I'm here to show what it looks like to say, I'm not okay with that program. And I'll be damned if I'm going to leave my kids to struggle and suffer when I make my transition, if I so choose to leave this fucking body. Because if they are grieving, they are missing the beauty in what's actually taking place, right? Because when we walk from this body to the next place, it's not sorrowful.
Right.
We are not in sorrow. We are in unity and love. And where is that memory? Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it expressed in my own experience. So I'm going to try to express it myself. I don't know what it looks like, but here I am.
Oh, holy fucking-moly, man. That was a download. So much was said there. Oh, okay. New understanding, new coding. I'm here to learn too. What grief and suffering can only live. It's almost archonic, right? I mean, they can only live. They can't live without us, basically. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
they're not bigger than us, but there's something that's there. So my question is, oh, this is not my show, but I got to ask you this question.
No, yeah, feel free. Come on in.
My question is, the energy of grief, the energy of fear, especially in the situation that you're in right now. And Nixon Ophesus said, I'm going through something like this. I'm supposed to be here to listen to this. Absolutely. Wow. The energy of grief, the energy of suffering that you and I and everyone realize more and more that it's not our natural nature. It's not our natural nature. How do you feel about grief and suffering as energies? Are you
I feel
are you in reverence of them? Are you like, that's not me, I'm separate from that, or something like that? I don't know the right answer. I'm just wondering.
I feel as if they are my guides.
Mm,
I feel as if, so I mentioned the severe trauma as a child. If I hadn't gone through the trauma as a child, I would never have had that out of body, which is staying in tune with my higher. I was always in contact with that field. In other words, if I had not had those traumas, I would not have had that open doorway, because our consciousness has to be stimulated or awakened with a certain vibrational frequency. And trauma is trauma because we deem it as trauma. Yes, with our judgment. Were the things that I went through traumatic for me? Absolutely, they were for me, because I'm a human being and I judge things from my human perspective. However, some traumas could be as small as they called me fat. That trauma in itself, picked up at school from somebody you don't even know, can be a lifelong traumatic event that will shape and mold your life forever. If you bring it in and say, I'm fat, my weight is off, I'm off balance. They told me, my reflection, it was there, I saw it. If you take that trauma and you bring it into your field and you say, I have this experience, what is this showing me? I'll give you a beautiful example. I was sexually abused on a multitude of levels, in a multitude of ways, things that you wouldn't even want to hear, so won't go there. I took that experience my whole life as being something that happened to me. It happened to me because I'm not good enough. It happened to me because I dressed bad. It happened to me because that's what happens to people who are pretty, right? Everybody, you're so pretty. This is how it works. Men get what they need from me because they're bigger than me and they're stronger than me. And they do that because I'm a victim, right? And being in that thought process allowed me to attract more of what I am, because the universe doesn't recognize thoughts and feelings and emotions. It only recognizes the vibration that you put out into the universe. And that is the secret in your heart, not what's coming out of your mouth, right? You can say, oh, I'm happy. But if in your heart, you're in pain, you're a lie and the truth ain't in you. And the universe is going to reflect that in every fucking experience in your life. When I started doing this work, I had a lot of dark night of the soul. And I'm talking like 7 years. It took me a really long time to process what I went through as a child. And when I came to the understanding that I am the co-creator, that I am a spark of the divine, I'm not separate. I'm not some child created in somebody else's image. I am the image. I am the image of God. I am the God spark. I am the creator of my reality. So I said, if this is true, I gotta know. I gotta know. How could you put me through this? Why did you allow these energies into my field? I was just a child. As a matter of fact, I was this child. I was this child right here. How could you let me? And you know what I heard from that other space? This child is a fucking warrior. And before she got here, she said, I want that template. I want the victim template, the succubus template. I want it all. Give it to me, because I can alchemize that shit and I can transmute it all back to love. And guess what? Here we are. Here we are. My kids will never understand the depths of what I went through as a child. And I'll never share. I'll never share that with them.
Well, you won't. You are sharing. You're not sharing the story. You're sharing the power. And I think the other thing, and please continue, but I think the other thing that stands out for me, there's a difference between perception and perspective. And you're saying, you're basically saying when you started to do the work that you had a transformation. I think that's what you're saying. You're just looking at what happened differently. That's what you're explaining. You're explaining
Yes.
that you understand, accept, and acknowledge and recognize that you made a choice coming in the door.
Yes.
Before you even took a human breath, saying, this is what I want. And
This is what I came for.
And then you went in. Then as you came on the other side or whatever, and you started to reflect and become aware of yourself and everything and all that stuff, you haven't dismissed it. You're actually just gone from perception to perspective, awareness, consciousness, which is, you explained it really well. Thank you. Continue.
Of course.
You're killing it.
So this is my why. Okay. From bipolar, sick. I got all. I'm a big pharma baby. Big pharma ate my ass up for 35 years. Like I know about it. I know about the dependency. I know about how we need, I know, but I also know something else. I know something else. And the way it all unfolded for me, gonna look different for the way it unfolded for everybody else, but we're all coming to the same place. And I know there's resonance. I know there's resonance through these experiences. Everybody talks about their guides, right? Oh, I have these guides coming in. I have guides. Our guides are our emotions. Our guides are our projections and our reflections and our experiences and how we show up to those experiences. And I don't just mean our guides are our traumas. I don't just mean that. I mean that thing that set your fucking soul on fire. That's your guide, guiding you. Those are guides. And when we tune in and we turn off all the rest of the outside noise, we hear a different sound. We hear a different song. We feel a different movement pulsing through our bodies. And I'm not going to say that I'm in control of every moment of my day, because I'm not. I'm going through the human experience. I honor and recognize that this is what I came for. I honor and recognize that I went through these. I had somebody message me earlier and say, you've been through so much. Why do people like you always go through the hardest things? And I said, so that we can bring this back later. Like, it takes a certain amount of commitment, right? Don't lean in to the fear that said, you shouldn't show up on Facebook. You shouldn't go there and do this show today. Your brother's in the hospital. You should probably stay in your room, right? You should probably cry a little today. You know, maybe don't eat as much, you know, just remember that your brother is in the hospital. And the more I hear it, the more I breathe and I fill my fucking lungs with air and I blow it right back into his. And I know that I'm building his lungs right now because I can feel it. I can feel it. And it's more than a feeling. It's more than that. And I'm experiencing it in real fucking time. And it's important for people to know this, because when it's over for me, this won't still feel this way, you know, like when the energy's gone, it'll die down and I'll have this as a mile marker in my life. But when you're in the moment, when you're facing the fear and looking it dead in the face, and it's telling you, you didn't make the right choice, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you got to look back and say, I remember you. I remember you. And you did save me a few times. You did. You kept me from putting myself in a place I didn't need to be. But I don't need you anymore. I don't need you because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the outcome. I am unattached to any outcome, and I am in gratitude for this experience. Because through this experience, I am bringing healing to myself. And in healing one, we heal all. And I fully believe that with my whole fucking soul. A grand rising indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Not on my watch. Not on my fucking watch.
It's like creating from the chaos. Well, from the human perception, that's chaos. And I love what you say about look it right in the eye.
Love confronts dysfunction.
Yeah.
Just by being love. Yeah.
And then, but okay. So like, you know, that Dr. Emoto thing, right? With you talk to the water and you know what I mean?
That's my jam, bro.
Okay. So like, okay, think about this, what you're saying. Because it's all or nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we were in a Stockholm syndrome kind of a realm, and yet some of those patterns of it still apply, which is like, look at Dr. Emoto's work and you say, oh, look at water. We can make, and I did it last night. I did it this morning.
I do it regularly.
right? I do it when I'm washing my dishes with fluoridated water, right? I talk to the water and then everything becomes the same. But anyway, so you take something like that and we look at it and it's still limited. It's still too singular because we go, okay, this applies to water. But it doesn't just apply to water. It applies to everything else as well. And like this example with your brother, Jason.
We love you, Jay.
Right? That's like overlaid, breathing for him, feeling it. This is the tip of the iceberg. This is and this is something I'm learning right now talking to you, because I can see some similarities in my life and I can see some things that happen in retrospect as I'm listening to you. But it's in those moments of the chaos, in those moments of the chaos that we call chaos from the human perception. It's in those moments that we have our greatest opportunity to do what we came here to do, which is to affect a higher level of alignment, ease and grace, whatever you want to call it, maximize the potential of the tsunami that we're riding on the surfboard of the soul. That's where our greatest potential is, which is wild, because it's like saying, you want to know where your greatest strength is, find your greatest weakness. And we all have these common denominators: fear, you could call it the chaos or whatever the case is, but this is when we rise. This is when the grand rising occurs. It's when we say enough is enough. And we don't do it with a charge. We don't say, fuck you, government. You lied to us. The history's been rewritten. Or it could be a situation like you're in, or so many others that people are having, like Medici and Alexander Guy and their boys 7. It's saying, I get it. It's like you said, I recognize you. Thank you. I'm good now. That's it. It's not saying to hell with Joe Biden, to hell with the government, to hell with the religion, to hell with the Vatican. It's just saying, hey, I get it. Thank you for the role that you played. Thank you for facilitating and witnessing and accompanying me to this point. But now I realize,
I'm here.
Yeah, you've taken me to the threshold and I'm walking across.
Yeah. And there's no looking back from here.
And isn't that the way the new practitioner energy works too, right? Empowerment.
It is.
Take you to the door, take you to the gateway, take you to the Stargate. And somebody said this to me the other day, and it was in regard to Soulgy, but really it's for all of us. It makes total sense. Where the universe takes you halfway and we go, it's 50-50. I take you to the universe, can take me, or a face of the universe, or whatever you want to call it, can take me to fear, can take me to the threshold. I got to meet it halfway. And that means it's a 50-50 proposition. And again, you can't, well, I've realized for a long time, there's no divorcing myself from any aspect of dark or light. There's no, if I put something on a pedestal, I've divorced myself from that energy. I've put it on a pedestal and now I'm separate from it. I feel inferior. Or if I put it on down in the doghouse, I think I'm better than. No, it's all me. And does that mean that it has to dominate me? No. It means I have a relationship just like I do with you, just like I do with anyone else, just like with a job or a home. And I say, yeah, you know what? Time's up now, and I love you and I'm moving forward. And the other thing I love about what you're saying, I was talking about it a little bit on the other show, but you said it so much better. And that is our guides, our angels, the elementals, the angelics, the galactics, etc. Those are just the faces of what you're talking about. Our guides are our emotions, and the range of our emotions, which is, you could say, the human heart, is the Stargate. That is the uniqueness of the human being. If you listen to narratives or read narratives of other species, and even if I look back at the vast archives of Soul Speaks 5D, people coming on and having conversations with higher aspects, and they're saying, we just don't get it. Why is it why is it that, humans are slow? Well, no, we're not slow. We came here with a uniqueness that made us different, which is a human heart, which is a range of emotions that is the alchemic material that we are going to create this new resurrection, new remix within the flesh, boots on the ground. We're here.
We're showing up for love, in love, from love, for love.
As love, right?
Exactly.
As love. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Being without which we are love. And that's not some hokey pokey new age bullshit.
Not at all. But it's worth it, right? Like the feeling of empowerment from the last traumatic experience in my life to this traumatic experience in my life. I've got a foundation that's unbelievable. I'm breathing. If I feel that energy come into my field, I'm popping off 478 right then. 478, 478. How many times do I need to breathe? As many fucking times as it takes. Breathe in 4, hold 7, breathe out 8. And I do that no matter where I'm at. Anytime I utilize the tools, essential oils, crystals, Facebook support, whatever it is. I'm open to receive. I'm open for guidance, and I'm open for expansion. I'm always teachable, and I will always take in and see what resonates, put it through the old love filter. And if it's making me feel any type of way other than love, which the situation with my brother was making me feel some type of way, it was making me feel like I wasn't good enough because I was so far away, right? You're not there and you're not holding his hand. And my human program told me that was wrong due to the abandonment issues that I went through as a child. I recognized all of that. But if I hadn't brought my awareness, I wouldn't have. And it would have taken me somewhere else. And it can happen that fast. If you're in awareness, you get to make a choice. And we're making these choices all day long. And if the choice is based in love, then that's what you're going to get back.
I like what you said too, because you're embodying, and therefore your interaction and connectivity is also physicalized. So like you said, I'm not looking for pity, I'm looking for support. And actually, I for the lack of a wrong word, the wrong word, admitting I need support. I'm not looking needy basis. I'm not looking for old programming here. The visitation that you have with grief and suffering is no different than the physical representatives of that as you reach into the physical world and this external experience. And so if you had people coming at you that were going, no, that's no different than talking to the grief and the suffering and saying, hey, I recognize you. You're just a different person with a different name, and that's okay. But and thank you, but I don't need. That's not what I'm looking for. I no longer resonate with that. I'm looking for reflections of empowerment and a higher level of perspective and really universal productivity as we stand in this consciousness in a physical body. I see it. I don't know if I explained it right, but I can totally see how you embodied. We think of embodiments. Oh, I pull all this stuff inside of me, and it is, right? Recognizing it's all inside of me. Everything's inside of me. But we're having a shared experience here. We're having what I would call divine union interactions in a moment by moment basis, connection basis, relationship by relationship basis, be they temporary, be they longer term, whatever the case is, where we're actually mirroring what's occurred in all of us before we ever got here, right? We're just basically creating what's already within us, and the way that you're approaching it by actually here in the we need to come in our body, but we also can be in our body hiding from the experience of being human, right? You hear a lot of people talking about You know, like even when we started this with the shows, or I asked people to come on the shows over the year, they'll be like, well, I'm not ready yet. But then it would turn into, well, they're pushing me. Well, that's us pushing us, right? Many of us were hermits, right? We lived in a cave. We lived a very isolated, introverted life, right? We're empaths. We can't go out in public. Well, that's not the design. That's the effects of the program. We're supposed to go forth and prosper, right? And so to hear you talk changes my perspective, expands my awareness of our power, and makes me understand that's not that I didn't know and hadn't experienced it to a degree, but I haven't adopted it 100%. And that is to rise, grand rising in the middle of the chaos. This is when we were most effective. And, you know, I just shared this post on Solargy Network that I had shared on my pages 3 or 4 months ago. And it's this beautiful story. This dude's talking, and he says, when he was 11 years old, he lived near, I guess, a lake or an ocean. I think it was a lake. And there was an old man that lived on the bank, on a cabin. And so the boy's out there, and he's throwing his line in, and he's throwing his line in, he's throwing his line in, and he's not getting anything. And the man walks up to him and says, "You're not catching anything." He says, "No." He says, "Why not?" He said, "Well, I'll tell you why." He said, the man tells him, when the tide recedes, when the tide is disappearing, it creates chaos, it creates friction, and it moves all the plankton about, and all the fish come in to feed in the shallow waters receding. That's when you throw your line in. You throw your line in then, and he said, man, we started catching fish left and right. And he said, then the old man, you know, sat on a rock and lit up a cigarette, and he said, you know, son, this is how life works. You throw your line in when the waters of life are receding. That's when you throw your line in. He said, the only mistake that you can make is not to throw your line in. And it's the same thing you're talking about. It's the grand rising by the moment, especially in those moments that it seems that you know, the energies in the waters are receding in your life, such as what you're going through right now. That's when you throw your line in. You're a powerful sister.
Ditto. Well, brother.
Brave sister.
Thank you so much.
It's a fact. But we all are too, you know. We all showed up. We all, you know, we all showed our ass. We've all been up and down. But now it's like, you know what? I love what you said. Hello, fear. Hello, pain, suffering, grief. Hello, ex. Hello, dark father, dark mother, dark brother, dark sister, dark, you know, friend that turned to enemy that, you know, I mean, hello, all those different things. How are you? I recognize you. Thank you for coming to the party. And thank you for showing me to the door, because I couldn't have made it without you. And now let's go play in this same environment where we've gone from perception to perspective / expanded consciousness awareness. And let's see what we can create. And I believe we're not on the precipice. I believe we're in those waters, and we are creating, and it's a quantum scenario, and things can change by human standards. Things can change instantly. Just like if we can do instant healing, then why can't Lighthouse with Nicole go viral tomorrow? Or why can't Solargy go viral tomorrow? Or why can't, you know, an artist be discovered and go viral tomorrow? Whatever the case is. And I see that more so in the energetic terms. I believe we've done it in the energetic terms. And that's why I always say the universe is on the edge of its seat, looking to see how far we can go, amazed at how far we've come and how fast.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing for sure. It's a wave. Like this is not something that's not going to take place. This is we are already in motion. We are already experiencing the new paradigms, the shifts, the new awareness, the new perception, perspective, all of it. It's all here right now for all of us. And we're leaning in, we're walking right into the fear. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm just grateful to be a part.
Ah. You want to do like I don't know, like what would you call it? I don't know what you call these things. Not a meditation, not a prayer, a ritual. I don't know what the word is. I don't know why I'm asking you this. Do you do that?
Do I do meditation? Do I hold space?
No, I mean, just like taking a moment to anchor all of this in and
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about it. Let's take a moment.
All right.
So I'm catching a ring in my ear. It's pretty high. And I would like to offer, if you guys experience the ear ringing, breathe it in. Like close your eyes and breathe. Pull the sound from your ear down in through your throat. And when it goes down past your throat chakra and hits your heart chakra, it'll expand out and spiral and into little strands of DNA. Some nice energy in today.
Wow, that's trippy. I've never done that before. I've never breathed in. I breathe in like my head and different things, but I've never breathed in the tones. And the crazy thing was, from the first time I did like 7 or 8 times. The tone got louder.
Yeah.
I could feel it go down my throat, and
it
I
twists.
could feel it. Yeah, I could feel it expand and spiral. But then the last 3 or 4, that still happened, and it went down into my solar sacral root. And
yeah, I don't know if you saw me, but I had to put my hands to push and move and spiral it right out. Yeah, I did that too. I did the same thing.
Trippy. That was really trippy.
I always heard that ear ringing was an ascension symptom. You know, like everybody's like, oh yeah, download, my ears ringing. And one day I was like, why? Like, why is this an ascension symptom? And what's the download? So I heard, well, breathe it in and see. So I breathed, and when I breathed, instead of coming in through the channel, it came in through this channel instead. And so I pulled it down, and I could feel it like physically go down my throat. And when it hit my sacred heart, the Amenti sphere is what I call it. When it hit, it separated, like not separated, but like it arched, and it came down both sides, and both spirals lit up and twisted down around me. So it was within me. It was really nice. It was around me in my mind's eye because I was in it and it was around me. But in reality, it was within my body that happened. But yeah, breathing in those tones have been really, really helpful. And they seem to go away fairly quickly after that.
Well, I agree with what you say too, because one thing I always remember is, as a kid, well, for as long as I can remember, I call it the universal cicada. So there's always this band of, like when you're in the forest and you hear all the sounds together, so like cicadas. I remember as a kid over and over again, being alone, being in private, being in solitude, and just the silence, and then listening to it.
Mhm.
So I think what you're saying is, why is it an ascension symptom? It's always there. It's always been there, you know. Wow. Thanks for coming on today and doing
Of
this.
course. My
Uh,
pleasure. Thanks for having me
it's
and
powerful.
holding this most beautiful, loving space for me to express and stumble through this experience as I rewrite this programming.
Well, I thought it was an incredible explanation, and I would just tell people that haven't caught Nicole on, on her solos, be it on the Sology Network or on her Spotlight shows or on her own stuff. This is what you get. I mean, it hasn't been to this depth, because there wasn't a situation to offer that contrast. But this is the real thing. And I've understood from the moment I reawoke, because I heard it over and again, as the individual goes, so goes the collective. So you're reflecting for us that which you sought from us yesterday on your post. This is how it
Yes.
works. True code is shareable immediately, and it's an equilibrium that I would call the truth frequency, because there is no wiggle room. It's a trinity. You're assisting yourself, me, and the collective by the same degree. That's what it looks like or feels like to me.
And it's funny because my show was supposed to be about fear on Wednesday, and I had a great show lined up. I did.
I remember.
And it was rescheduled for today for this purpose. And I recognized it immediately, when I was sitting in, like, should I do it? I'm going to call Todd and just let him know what's going on with my brother, just in case. Right. And every time I would ask myself, like, should I do the show? Like, I don't know if I should go on. I don't know if I'm in the right place. It was, this is the only place. Like, this is the place. Of course, you have to do the show.
Yeah.
Of course, right now.
But that energy becomes reproduced, remixed constantly. I feel like that's what Soulgy is. Like Soulgy, was a guy on the street that was putting up words and flawed, or however you want to call it, from those old terms, because we know that's not true. But just what's real, what's raw, what's authentic, and then other people started doing it, and then it was posts, and then it was images, and then it was videos and lives and shows, and it's amazing. And so now we've evolved to this place on the third Soulgy Fest where everybody is a star, and there's not this big name and this big musical group, to draw people in, to sell more tickets. It's not like that. It's an intimate setting where those that take the stage or lead the workshop, be they presenting or performing, okay, or doing a workshop, are reflecting to us, right? Like this kind of talk, like what you've just taken us through. Like that's what it's all about. That's it right there. That's it. It's not about, and nothing against, my daughter went to see Bashar in Sedona last month. I know, different strokes, whatever, different timelines, whatever, but it really is about what I love the way you explained it, like the reflection thing. Like you sought reflection yesterday. You didn't seek old paradigm support / pity. You sought support. You sought the support in the form of reflections of yourself. Okay. And then you turn around today and offer us a reflection of ourselves. And I guess that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. To be able to look at a mirror, look at another person, look at a soul, and say, wow, he's impressive. She is impressive. But you know what? That's me I'm looking at. There's a reason I'm looking at that. We always say this about the bad shit. We always
That's
say this
what
about
I
the
say
bad shit.
too.
right? We always say this about the bad shit. Oh, why am I seeing that? I must, my house is not in order, or whatever the case is, but what about when we see the good stuff? What about
Yep,
these
it's a
people we had
reflection
on,
of,
right? And
yep,
that's what I
it's a
love about
reflection
your,
of you,
yeah,
allowing ourselves to see each other in every aspect.
yeah,
Take it all in.
yeah. And you are, you're like, you, this energy that you're exuding and that we're all coming into is one that you can't put it on a pedestal. That's what makes it so, that's what makes the Trinity equation. You can't put it on a pedestal, even if you wanted to, because it's so pure and so true and so raw and so real that you can't do anything but just connect to it. We've all experienced this, where people, when we're illuminating over the years through the evolution, and what we shine light, people triggered by us, or they want a piece of us. We've all experienced this, but man, we're breaking through some. You have collaborated with us to really break through, in this moment, and to grasp a greater field of potential. And that's what it's all about. Yeah. 100th monkey on fucking steroids.
I love it.
All right. Well, we're going to go into an IT meeting in 25 minutes, and we're going to ratchet up the Soulgy Network based on this meeting. And there's going to be some really powerful stuff coming down with Soulgy Network from now through the end of the year, which ends in the Soulgy Fest. So yeah, if you want to see more of Nicole, but let's just take one moment if everyone doesn't mind, and just join us in the circle of life as we stand in the circle of life, holding hands, circles upon circles, concentric circles upon concentric circles of our angels and guides and galactics and past lives and descendants and future parallels, and all of the universal that we hold within ourselves. We put this wonderful, beautiful soul that has brought us together in this day, Jason, who we know is holy and whole. And as all the angels in heaven bear witness in this eternal moment, which is the only moment, we together, in a unified manner, equal to ourselves and to this beautiful soul, Jason, healing, peace, love, comfort, grace, and blessings for the highest and best. And so it is. Thank you.
And so it is. And thank you.
I'll see you soon. You take care, and you call me if you need anything.
I appreciate it. Love you so much.